What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this conversation / reality chat, guys. I've been waiting to talk about this. I know that there's been just so much commentary about Nene and this infamous interview, two-part, shall we say, but one interview, but broken up into two parts that she did with Carlos King. And listen, I previously did a few conversations just talking about it because, you know Carlos. If you know Carlos, you know Carlos. And of course, we don't know this dude personally, but we just kind of get his MO. And we knew that he was going to milk this for all it's worth. So he has done the interview. He broke it up into two parts. Really surprised he didn't try to break it up into 3 or 4. Let's just be real, because the first part was about an hour and a half. The second part was a little over an hour. So he could have literally broken that up into 4 parts. I'm not saying it would have been worth it, but because people are listening to just try to get an understanding, or maybe just to do like I'm doing, just give your views and opinions on what was said, it would have gotten him the views. And it looks like the interview that he's done with Nene Leakes has gotten more views than his shows on the OWN network. And that's definitely not me trying to throw shade towards him. It's just the God's honest truth, because I don't look at the numbers, but I've been hearing people report on the numbers. And that's why it's been a bit comical to me when he would sit and talk about the Real Housewives franchises and do reviews on those shows and talk about things that they need to do, and they need to do this and they need to do that. But anyway, we know that Nene had a few things to say and share about Cynthia, and a lot of it is just really unbelievable. She wanted people to believe that Cynthia is this devious person. She's done it on the show where she said a lot of people don't know the real Cynthia, but I know the real Cynthia. So it's like there's nothing wrong with someone that is quiet, sweet, timid, demure, whatever, low key, whatever phrases you want to use. And there's nothing wrong with that person having a side where it's like, okay, now you've crossed the line and I'm going to let you have it. So it was almost like she was trying to make that out to be a negative thing about Cynthia. I think that's a great thing, because a lot of people had seen Cynthia as a pushover and whatnot. But no matter what Cynthia has done in front of the cameras, and Nene tries to make us believe that she's a completely different person, I don't believe any of us truly believe that. I believe, even though Cynthia may have made some bad decisions when it comes to the men that she chose to get married to, there's a couple of them that we know about, right? That doesn't mean that she is a stupid person or that she is a bad person. She's just made a few bad decisions when it comes to that. But we do, I believe for the most part, believe that Cynthia is really a nice, sweet, kind person. And maybe to a fault, because a lot of people also saw her as being ridiculous when she did the friendship contract and, all that type of stuff like that when it came to her friendship, so-called friendship with Nene. But anyway, when Nene was making comments about how she could never be friends with Cynthia again because she knows the things that she's done to try to, I guess, pretty much just try to affect her financially, it's like none of us really believe that. Even if Cynthia had that type of power to do that, I don't believe anyone truly believes that Cynthia did anything to try to keep Nene off of Housewives or try to get her fired or, was worse, try to stop her from coming back. Nene has put all of those nails in her own coffin. And even though more things are being revealed about the networks now, there were a lot of people like myself who were saying we're not denying that there may not be people who have their prejudices or their preferences, or maybe even some racial bias or possibly racism that works at the networks. That is not to say that those things cause Nene's proverbial downfall. Nene put those nails in her own coffin, okay? So her doing this interview with Carlos and just talking about how that's the house that she built and whatever. Well, Cynthia was recently on Kandi Speak on It on her YouTube channel, and they had some things to say about it. More so, you know, Cynthia, we know Candy's gonna do her little backhanded, you know, comments and things, and that's fine. It's her platform to say and do as she pleases. But listen, I'm just going to give you the story from the Jasmine brand because I don't really feel like going to Kandi's YouTube channel to play those clips. But the story is that Cynthia Bailey is addressing Nene Leakes' recent comments and accusations surrounding RHOA. In the latest episode of Kandi Burruss's YouTube series Speak on It, the singer reality star sat down with Cynthia Bailey and dished on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, as well as Nene Leakes' recent comments during her exclusive interview with Carlos King. While chatting with King, Nene accused Cynthia of trying to put an end to her time on RHOA. Nene said, "I love Cynthia like she was my sister. We had a great friendship. I miss the friendship that we had. I just know some of the things that she has done behind the scenes. As much as she was on camera saying I was trying to stop her bag, she was definitely trying to stop mine. She was in an alliance with Housewives and behind the scenes with producers and the network. I believe she tried. I believe she had a hand in trying to get it done." So in the interview elsewhere, she expressed that outside of the clips from RHOA that come across her social media, she doesn't watch the series anymore. And she added, "And as far as I'm concerned, they're all sitting in my house, the house that I built, and it seems like it's tumbling down." So yeah, Cynthia isn't agreeing with that. And she addressed it because she was asked. So it's not like Cynthia just came out here clapping back on social media, because we know that's just not her style. So she said, first of all, if I had all that power, let me be very clear. In the event that I wanted to come back to Housewives, the first phone call I would be to make sure that I'm good, that I can come back, because I'm currently not on the show. If I had all this power, first thing I'm going to do is take care of myself. And she said that at the end of the day, I'm going to always give Miss Leakes her flowers. She's good TV. She deserves to be on television. And I pray, although I didn't try to get her off this show, that she ends up on another show somewhere. And then she said, and this is what I said in my previous conversation, not to that extent, but this is what I was trying to get to. She says, if she did in fact build the Housewives of Atlanta, then hey, she can build another house on another network. If you can build one house, you can build two. Get back on TV. Go ahead and build that second house, because that's what you do. You're that girl. You're super talented. So hey, if you can't come back to Housewives, build another house. Now that's what I said in my previous conversation when I discussed this interview. I'm like, Nene sits and talks all of this stuff about the Housewives, the ratings today, how she did this, how she did that. She's the OG. She started this. But yet, even if you were blackballed in the industry, why didn't you do something else? Something else. And to me, it's the work ethic I feel that is extremely lacking when it comes to her. Because just let's be clear. Being on the Housewives, is that come on, let's just be honest. Is that real work? Yeah, it is not fun or even easy to be in a toxic atmosphere where you're constantly being bombarded with drama. But in the grand scheme of things, based on what you and I have to put up with, I know what I put up with as a business owner and dealing with employees and all of the other things that I have coming at me on a regular, continual basis. Even though I have no desire to be on television, and I wouldn't trade what I'm doing to be a reality TV star. I don't even want to say star, but a reality TV personality. I feel like that's light work in comparison, right? So it doesn't really take true, real skills to be a housewife on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It just doesn't. And I'm not saying that everyone's cut out for it, and I'm not saying that it's easy, but when it comes to skills, that's just not something that is necessary to really have. Okay. So I believe that no, she couldn't build a house somewhere else. And that may have been a little bit of shade that Cynthia was throwing her way. But I just believe, in my personal opinion, that really was her proving a point that it's like, well, hey, if you built this house, then why didn't you build something else? And true hustlers, real people that really do this thing, they do that. And as much as I'm not, the biggest fan of Kandi, I don't hate her. I know there are a lot of people out there that can't stand Kandi. I'm not one of those people. But I'm not the biggest, huge supporter of her either. But the one thing that I can say about Kandi is that she is doing it. And no, she's not doing everything herself. And all the things that she is doing, it's impossible to do it all alone. I do a lot of things and I have a team. Definitely nothing like what Kandi's doing and all the stuff that she's got. And I don't have the team that she has. But you need to have people on your team. And I do believe that is also one of the reasons why Kandi does stay paid, is because she is also helping out other people. Because when you are giving people opportunities like she has, I do believe that your gifts make room for you, and God does provide and allows more to come your way so that you can continue to be a blessing to other people. So in my personal opinion, just doing the things that Kandi has done, and just one example, her doing this interview with Cynthia. Cynthia is one of many people that she has done interviews with on her YouTube channel that she calls Speak On It. And I believe Kandi has 2 YouTube channels. Does Nene have a YouTube channel at least? I mean, it's like you want to be on television. You want to be on reality TV. You want to get paid a big check. You want to do podcasts. You say you love to talk. You say that Wendy Williams, she stopped you from being able to have your own talk show because you love talk. And when she and you got into it, then she stopped that from happening. But it's like, they might be able to stop those things, but they can't stop you from being you. If you love to talk, then why don't you have a YouTube channel? There's a YouTuber, vlogger, Michelle A. Brown. I believe she's like one of the biggest cheerleaders of Nene. I'm not saying that she hasn't tried to encourage Nene to have her own YouTube channel, but at this point in time, why doesn't Nene have that? Nene definitely has a fan base. She has a following. And yeah, there may have been some bridges that she's burned and some people that just don't want to have anything to really do with her. But I just believe that because she doesn't, my personal opinion, I don't believe she has really true good work ethic. So that's why she would not even think to do something like that. It's like you doing a few live videos here and on your Instagram account. It just doesn't really make sense. You could have started your own thing. You could have been working to repair your own reputation that you did contribute to being damaged. And yeah, she went through a lot of things. Someone commented on my last video and said, y'all not going to come for Nene. She deserves grace. She was going through a lot of stuff. She lost her husband. Yeah, all of those things are definitely true. But do you know how many people have gone through worse than what she's gone through, have had less access and less opportunities than she has, and they don't operate the way that she operated? So I don't really want to hear those excuses. They may be explanations, but there really is no excuse. She could have definitely done some things by now. And like Cynthia said, if you built that house, then you can build another one. So in my personal opinion, I just believe that she's proving that, no, you did not build the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You definitely were one of the first. And you definitely played a huge part in the success of it and being a part of it. But it was an ensemble cast. And even though I don't like Sheree did say that as well. She said it's an ensemble cast. I do believe it's an ensemble cast that they, could do without Sheree. Again, my personal opinion. But Nene was an ensemble cast. She was not singular. And I don't even want to say that she was the star. As much smoke that Carlos was blowing up her a-hole, I don't agree with that. I do believe that she played an intricate part in people wanting to view it, but that show needs, if it's going to continue to go, I've talked about this several times, needs to be recast, period. So they don't need to be bringing Nene back. I don't even believe they need to be bringing most of these other people back, because it's been over 15 years. It's a reality show. I don't watch Survivor, but Survivor has a new cast every single season. And I think that show has well over 20 something years, maybe going into 30. I don't know. And yeah, it's a game show, but it's a game reality show. Recast it, refresh, reboot, start anew, and Nene needs to stop living in the past. It is your past. You have the right to talk about it. You have the right to be, wax nostalgic, as they say, about it. But to sit and disparage people that you were on the show with and who are still currently on the show, I just think it doesn't serve the purpose that she thought it would. And her people that love her, no matter what, they're always going to stand 10 toes down for Nene, and she could do no wrong in their eyes. And that's fine. But the thing that turns a lot of people off about Nene that really do want to champion her and support her is the lack of accountability. And for her to sit and say that Cynthia stopped her in any way with anything that she had to do with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I feel is absolutely ridiculous, especially if anyone remembers Nene being on Watch What Happens Live and telling Andy that she felt like Cynthia doesn't really need to be on the show anymore because she's not bringing anything, because she was pissed off and mad about some things that had nothing to do with the show. I just didn't feel that was right. And Cynthia did harbor a grudge with her, and rightfully so, about that. And she did address it. And she was like, yeah, it wasn't really cool. You're trying to get me off of the show, trying to affect my financials. And as I spoke about before, she played the game of semantics to say that she did not try to get her fired from the show. But you insinuated it and felt the need to, put that out there. That's like, was that ever really your friend? Even if you're not friends anymore, if you were truly friends with someone at some point, you may not be friends with them now. You may not associate with them anymore. But that don't mean that you should be trying to hurt them in some way moving forward, because you're in a place right now emotionally. It's just not right. It's not right. And that's that old saying, if you have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. So she could have just said no comment if someone asked her about Cynthia, versus saying, well, she ain't really bringing anything to the show. So, I can't with her sometimes. So Cynthia made a very great point, and I just wanted to talk about that. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.